Diego, mind. I was gonna you could record so I can go back to this.
Yeah, I'm recording the sessions. I'll be posting it. If you want to record on your own, let me see if I can actually turn that on. All right, you should be able to record now.
Yeah.
Anybody else wants to record? All right. All right. Any questions on this one? Doubts? Next one. We are a customer ask a technician to help set up a specialized computer system from video editing. Which of the following should the technician install on the workstation to best meet the customer's requirements? Choose two, it says. How do we do? SSD drive, correct. For what he's asking, video editing, he's gonna need also dual monitor. Doesn't require a docking station, does not need a network NAS, which is the backup ones, right? And the hypervisor is for VMs. So the only other choices we had that we require for a video editing machine, we need a SSD, right? And dual monitors. Any questions or doubts? Sure. Next question. A user is unable to access websites as reported connectivity issues with pop-ups on the screen. A technician removes malware and then is able to ping the router and access websites. Which of the following steps should he perform next in troubleshooting? Which troubleshooting should he do? The next steps he should do. Choose two. Remember to cross out the ones you believe are not right. Makes it much easier sometimes. Ten seconds. Okay, lock them in. Document your findings and actions. It should be one of the things that we have to do. Remember, guys, these are the steps. These are the 7 steps that they tell us that we should be doing. And at this point, I have not verified that everything is fixed. I do agree with you guys. I'm seeing that I want to verify the fix, but how would rebooting the computer verify that it's fixed? It can't. The only way I can verify that I truly got rid of it is if I run another scan. If I think it was Jordan may agree with me, when we were doing cleaning on his PC, we had to several times had to do a pass on his computer to be able to clean everything out of it. It didn't find it on the first pass, and then we had to actually come in, be malware, be spyware, be whatever it is that it may have inside, the only way that we can verify is by, again, running and see if it didn't actually propagate while I was removing it. As we learned, worms can propagate from here to there. So therefore, just by rebooting it, it's not going to tell me if it's going to fix the problem. Any questions on the steps that he was in, or in the placement of steps of troubleshooting on where this technician was and what he should have been doing? Okay, we're on 20. The technician replaced a broken LED screen in a mobile computer. The operating system can be seen perfectly on the screen, but the touchscreen is non-responsive. Which of the following is the most probable root cause of the given failure? Choose three. 3, 2, 1. All right, lock it in, guys. Lock it in. Whatever you believe. Come on, lock it in, please. Wrong or right, you gotta lock it in. You do. Going once. Going twice. Hello. Pablo, is it you again?
No.
Come on, guys. Lock it in. I'm missing one.
Carlos looks frozen, so maybe it's him.
Carlos, you okay?
Get stuck in the matrix.
DeAndre, you all right? We might have lost him.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Just laying down.
All right. Maybe it's Carlos. Carlos going once. Carlos going twice. Carlos is stuck.
Fold.
Yeah, he's stuck and he's out. It looks like he was about to drop. There he went. Okay, so he might have lost internet. All right, so let's go ahead and review here. So he's got a broken LED. Only problems he could have, we said calibration is for what? When do I calibrate a screen, guys? When do I calibrate a screen?
Resistive.
Does that exist nowadays?
Oh.
What are you saying?
Resistive is the old one, so it's not being used anymore. So we wouldn't have to calibrate it. The digitizer is another one that helps us, right? The digitizer is the one that's on top of that screen, so that could be it. And or the actual drivers were not installed. So that's the reason why it may actually give you problems. Any questions on that one?
Calibrate a screen?
Calibrate the screen is for the old screens that doesn't exist anymore. Capacitive screens are the ones that are being used. Resistive screens did require a calibration. But either which way, even if we say it was the other one, it's not reacting at all. Had it been that it was a calibration, it just kind of marks different spots than the spot that I'm looking for. In other words, if I go to this side, all of a sudden it's on this side, it's because it needs to be calibrated. But it sees that I'm touching it. It just needs to be calibrated. Not sensing the right spot. All right, next question here. A technician setting up Wi-Fi enabled thermostat for a customer, but the customer is concerned about the Internet of Things, IoT, being hacked, which will best address his problem about this guy being hacked and obviously from there being able to get onto my network. What can actually help me out here?
Thermostat. All right.
Yeah, so smart thermostats, whatever, like Nest or any of those other thermostats that are out there. Lock them in. Lock in, lock in. All right. So now, if I enable two-factor authentication for the Internet of Things, would this resolve my problem completely?
Can you say that again?
If I see some people marked B, D, and E before I even try to go over the actual answers. If I enable two-factor authentication, would that automatically resolve my problem with security?
I mean, it would help.
I thought it would help, yeah, too. Like, that's why I put that one.
Mm-hmm. What's the question asking me though?
Wi-Fi enabled.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's nothing related to wire. Okay.
So what would the two-factor authentication be classified as?
Two-factor authentication is, I agree, it's good security. But what happens if I already know what your password is? Therefore, all I have to do is install the app. I'm in the app. I log into your thermostat, right? And now it's going to send me the code here. So I got to just go like this. Okay. Have I stopped to get in? It is, in fact, taking care of this guy here. But is it stopping anything from here? Is it stopping the problem from the Wi-Fi? His problem is getting hacked through the Wi-Fi. That's what he's specifically asking for. You guys got to be very, very careful. Assuming that they're asking something else gets dangerous, but they only mention Wi-Fi. They didn't say anything about anything else except for Wi-Fi. Yes, they said Internet of Things. They don't want to get hacked. I agree with you. Now, one of the things that we really want to do is obviously, which would be great, is separating it. How would segregating this into a DMZ help me?
I have no clue.
Okay. The demilitarized zone, if you guys remember, I stated that that is actually just like when you are doing peace treaties. In other words, just pretend, I think I told Lazaro yesterday, pretend that the demilitarized zone is Sweden. Therefore, when you come into Sweden, you must relinquish all arms. There's no way you can come in here with a payload or do something unless if I say you can. The moment that you come in, you could only go into where I say you can. There's no way ins, ends, or buts because I have a firewall here and a firewall here. Therefore, if the LAN wants to talk to the DMZ, he only has certain ports that are going to be open, if they're open. And the same thing, if somebody from the internet wants to get into this device, he could only get into the DMZ zone. If the DMZ zone is compromised, the device is compromised, I am not. Because that DMZ zone is blocking him. He cannot leave or enter unless if it's authorized. Therefore, he would actually have to go and get through 2 firewalls through the unit. And that's three things he has to get through. He's got to attack first the firewall to get through, attack the actual internet things to get through, and then attack the second firewall to get in. On here, if he updates the latest and sets a strong password, because we know a lot of people like to set an easy password on it, that would be the highest standard, which is which one? Which one's the latest and greatest out there? What's the highest there is available?
WPA3.
Everyone agree?
WPA2.
There's WPA2, and there is something that's come out recently in the last year or two, but it's not in the actual test, which is WPA3, as DeAndre alluded to. WPA2 is the stronger of the ones that are out there, but WPA3, believe it or not, does exist. It's got security certification too, and it has, I think, up to 3 layers of security on it. But for the test, I believe you only need to know WEP, WPA, and WPA2. Either which way, we need to make sure he's got the strongest encryption and hopefully a very strong password on that Wi-Fi. Here, I'm only protecting the device on B. You see what the problem is there? I'm only protecting that one device, not my network. The key thing here is he doesn't want it to get hacked and then his network being vulnerable. Because I can care less about the thermostat. There's not much you could do with my thermostat, right? My problem is you can use that thermostat as a router to route your traffic and get into my network. Any questions, doubts? Next question. The client has 3 locations in the city limits. City limits. City limits. Vendor network requirements for all 3 locations is a minimum of 1 gigabyte. Which of the following are the types of network most likely going to be internal office and office-to-office networking? So what's going to be internal and what will be the connection of office-to-office for this customer? What are my 2 things that I can use I need something internal and something office to office. That's what they're saying. I need something internal, office to office. I guess you guys would need to know what a SAN, a PAN, a WAN, a LAN, a MAN, or a WLAN. Jordan, don't kill me yet, bro. You look like if you want to.
Okay.
10 seconds. 2 people. 5 seconds. One person. All right. With a second to spare. All right, guys. If we remember correctly, what is my city limits? Who is that? Who's in the city?
Oh man.
That's the man.
He's
The
man,
metropolitan.
the main man, the metropolitan city. And what's in my building?
A land.
That is correct. So
Man,
we need a man and a land minimum. And so your man and your land will give you those speeds, guaranteed.
I forgot the pan. Can you remind me again?
That's a personal area
Okay.
network, Bluetooth,
Okay.
RF, anything that's in range of one person.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions or doubts on this one? Now, why wouldn't I use a WAN?
It's worldwide.
A wide
MN.
area network is going to cost me much more than a MAN. A WAN is going to cost me a lot of money because that is a wide area network. It would be ridiculous if I only had 3 locations inside the city limits for me to purchase a WAN. No reason for that. I would purchase a MAN and install that on my WIC card. That circuit, the MAN circuit on my WIC card, because it's only in my metropolitan area. We mentioned that the police department most likely is using a MAN. Any questions, doubts? Next question. Which of the following channels would be the most commonly used 802.11 wireless networks? Which of these channels is the one that I would commonly use out of all of them? One left. Who's coming with me? Come on, guys. All righty then. So how did we do? 802.11, we stated that the common channels for 802.11 is what? 1,
1,
6,
3.
and 11. 1,
Okay.
6, and 11. Those are the 3 channels that I would commonly use on that one that do not overlap. 802 has to do with the actual IEEE standard name, 802.11, A, B, C, G, and whatever. Any questions? 17 doesn't exist, 802 doesn't exist, and 8080 ain't it. Doubts? Feel comfortable? Warm and toasty? Next one. Which of the following wireless standards is only capable of 5 gigahertz frequency? Which one's only available with 5 gigahertz? I should be able to remember that one. There's only really 2 that can go at 5 gigahertz, and then one of them has capability of going both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, we said. One more, 16 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So how did it go? Anybody know? Want to take a wild guess? Which one is only that channel?
I put 802.11a.
Dark 2 and is A. A is the only one because AC does do it, but we said AC has the capability of being both on 2.4 gigahertz and 5. And therefore, since AC is our friend, that means A is the other guy. And A can only do one at 5 gigahertz. B, G, and N, we believe, is at 2.4, right? Next one. And a user reports that after setting up a WAP, a new WAP, in her kitchen, she is experiencing intermittent connectivity issues. Which of the following should a technician check first? Intermittent issues. What can create that type of issue? I said it in the classroom, and is the main reason why we should learn this. What can create intermittent connectivity issues? The whole day. Not only when she's cooking. Don't guess it's the microwave. It's the microwave's not even here. Seven, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Now, so what's a WAP?
Wireless access point.
Okay, so knowing that that's a wireless access point, what can create issues with a wireless access point out of the 4 that are here? While I'm in the kitchen. So I'm standing in the kitchen and just sporadically keeps on.
A.
Okay. A, does everybody agree?
Yep.
I do
Yeah,
hope
okay.
so. We learned that if I do have 2 access points ever, we said that it should be 1, 6, 11. 1, 6, 11. I got to make sure that I spread those channels out. If they overlap each other, the same exact channel is in the same area, my actual computer will continue to talk to whoever it connected to first. And or even worse, I may actually make the calculation that the other one's closer versus this one. So he's grabbing and sending a packet to the wrong MAC address, creating that problem on the same channel. So the other guy's not answering me, and I'm sending it to this guy. So it's like me calling Justin Lazaro. Hey, Lazaro, here. And Justin's looking at me like, what the hell's wrong with you, child? You obviously ain't talking to me, so he just looks like that way. I go, Lazaro, listen to me here. Take this. He's like, I don't care.
Huh?
That ain't me, Lazaro. That's exactly what's happening because you're both talking on the same channel, and unfortunately, that access point is just ignoring you because obviously it's not his package, so he can care less about it. Any questions, doubts?
Yeah, about the
Can you
frequency.
I'm sorry?
do you think you can go over the channels really quick?
Yeah, sure. All right. Hopefully they show us a picture like the other guy did. Of course not. Here we are. No, that's not it. Here we are. 1, 6, and 11. So here goes 1. You notice 1, channel 1 reaches up to here, almost up to 4, more or less. You see him here?
Mhm.
Therefore, he stays out of the way of 6. You see how 6 is here? Goes somewhere on here. 11, the same thing. They won't overlap. They're all on a 20 megahertz band. The channel is the only thing that will allow them to be close to each other, and since you need coverage. So if you're doing the right coverage, you have your access points which are overlapping in coverage in a given area, like a union. You know what a union is, right? In math?
Yes.
So you need to make that union inside. There has to be coverage in between those two circles. Usually, I think it's about, depending on the antenna, some of them are much stronger, but the average is about 300 feet, right? So then you need to be 150 feet away from me that way. The next antenna has to be 150 feet away from me this way. Giving you example. On purpose, we need them to overlap each other, and that's why we need to make sure that channel 1, channel 6, and 11 do not overlap each other. They must be away from each other. If they at all they overlap, you will have a problem. I've had plenty of technicians who went quickly and tried to set up a building, and they put everything on channel 1. That was beautiful. Beautiful. It was in one scanner that was working right. But as soon as they started walking around the building, they started having problems with connectivity. Any questions?
So I understand that has to do with channels, but doesn't it have to do with frequency as well?
Same frequency, different channel. Is that going, you know how you have, the only thing I can probably give as an example, you know HD radio?
Yeah.
Okay, just pretend like if you had an HD radio, you put 105.9, channel 1, that's the rock station. You put channel 2, that's something else. You put channel 3, it's something else. Same thing with Power 96, right? Power 96 is on the same exact frequency. It's got 2 or 3 channels. So depending on which channel you go on, it'll give you a different connection. It's the only way I can try to explain it, I guess. HD, you've used HD radio? Usually it has like 2 or 3 channels, same frequency, not Power 96. If you go to channel 1, it's the regular Power 96. And then you go to channel 2, it's something else. Channel 3, it still says 96.5, but it's just got a different channel.
Okay, that makes it more clear now. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. This also happens on radios, on walkie-talkies. All of them are on the same frequency, different channel. Because when you pay for these radios, those rugged radios that look like if they're cop radios, you need a license to be able to broadcast on that frequency. And then you get all, I think there's like 30 channels on these radios, depending. Some of them have more. But it's one frequency, several channels. Any other questions on this?
What frequency do radios use? I'm just curious.
2.4 gigahertz and some other bands, depending on what depending on where you are. Here's a bunch of frequencies. This one maybe. Give me the channels. Here's your frequencies.
So many.
That's what you need to have a license, and you could only broadcast in that area. In other words, what I mean by that is, okay and dandy, you might have a certain frequency, but you can't take this radio and go to Alabama and use this radio. You're not allowed. You'll have a specific license to use those type of frequencies in a given area. There's obviously a plethora of radios out there and their frequencies. Any other questions, doubts? All right. Next question. The workstation just moved to a new work location without a surge protector. It was working before the day. But now the PC will not power on. The fans will not spin, and there's no sign of activity. Which of the following should he check first? Should he check first? So least intrusive out of all that. mumbo jumbo they got there. Two. 15 seconds. 2 people missing. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 2 people missing. Lock them in. 5 seconds. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep. Lock it in. Who's missing? Come on. Thank you. How do we do? Yes, the least intrusive would be to check the power cable protection. Sorry, the power cable connection. Why would I check that first?
It could simply have come unplugged.
That's just giving you the direct current.
It's the least intrusive, right? If I go check the voltage of the PSU, how is that going to help me?
That was a good trick question. It was a good trick question.
And I thought that you would want to check the power supply.
Yeah, but right away I would check the power supply before even checking that it's plugged in or not. It didn't even say it was me. It says a workstation just moved to a new work location without a surge protector. Okay, fine and dandy. You don't got a surge protector, but not a problem. It was working before the day, but now the PC just won't turn on. Not even the fans will spin. Nothing. Well, the first thing I should check, the least intrusive there, would be the power. Is it connected?
That's what it got to me, that last one. But no, I got A, but like, it's a good trick question. People are just thinking about like it not working internally versus what they should do first.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any questions or doubts on this one? All right, let's continue. Next one. An employee device no longer charges. The employee believes the battery is bad. A technician tests the mobile and finds the charge on a wireless charge pad, but not when it's connected to a charging cable. Other devices charge without issue when the cable is used. Which of the following should the technician perform first?
I was about to say, if I didn't get this right, I'm out.
Hola, Juan. 15 seconds. Hey, time out. All right, let's see how we did. Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. You guys didn't fall for it. I wouldn't replace the mobile device battery because it charges wirelessly on a charging pad. And obviously, the cable was checked too, so that can't be it. And why would I send it if I haven't been able to determine exactly the problem? So the next thing I needed to do, and the only one was that one. All right, Joe, a user sets up an IMAP connection to smartphone to webmail Joe is able to view email, but he receives an error message when trying to send a message. When viewing the mail client's configuration, Joe sees valid SMTP server and port. Which of the following should Joe check next to resolve his issue? All right, let's see how we did. Okay. Now, any questions on this one and why it is POP 3?
I guess if map didn't work, try POP3 next.
Well, I chose A because POP3 is the port we're used to able to download email or be able to view the email. So I think it should be logical that you configure it to configure the email account as a connection so that you could be able to download the mail and be able to view it.
I started with A, configuring the email account as POP3, but then what got me was it says, what should Joe check next? So I would say the easiest way is just to check if there's airplane mode right away. So that's why I put airplane mode.
Yeah, I'm torn on this
I
one.
was thinking the airplane mode too, but when I saw that it says that he's able to view the email, if he's able to view, that means that he can, there's some internet access somewhere, because if you even able to see emails at all, that means you have a connection. So that's why I chose A.
When I originally had this question, I put B, but I know it wasn't correct after that. I would actually test to see if there's an encryption problem, but if you're troubleshooting, it makes sense you want to try POP3 to see,
Yeah,
hey, is
see,
it
the
working?
problem is here, they're automatically telling you right here, this one in here is okay. Right? So, this one also tore me up. And the problem is that, as we said, it already says it has a valid SMTP port. That means that encryption or anything like that may be correct. Right? It's saying that it has a valid port on that configuration, but it didn't say anything about IMAP being correct. You set it up, but it doesn't say that it was correct. Now, at the same time, any of the other ones can be legitimate. Any other questions?
I just find this question very difficult.
The only thing that I that gets confusing me, and which I still have trouble with this one, is this error right here. Watch. So
Yeah, that gets me off. Instead of trying IMAP
do
again,
I
he's
send
like,
with
I'll go-
IMAP and do I send with POP?
No. I didn't understand that either.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing because that's referring to SMTP.
I think this question
It
is
says-
bad. If you ask me, I don't think this question is good. I had a lot of problems. I was trying to figure out how could it be that. And see, the thing is that none of the other ones sound right to me either. Because it says that supposedly be configured and the port's fine. So therefore, I don't have to ensure TLS or SSL. And he's receiving when he's trying to send only. That's the weirdest part. And the only thing now what does make sense to me is that sometimes some of these, like Outlook, if you don't configure it right, it'll give you an error when it's sending and receiving. And so like it stops because it tries to receive first, gives you an error, and then it won't send. That's
so
the
why
only
do
thing.
we start with IMAP and then they say POP3?
That's what I'm saying is that if you configure your computer, right, with IMAP and SMTP, when you hit send and receive, if it's not configured correctly, the computer will stop halfway. The first thing it tries to do is receive, and it gives them an error when it's trying to send. That's the only thing I can think of. But it's still, once again, this one is very questionable. As for all these tests, I would obviously make sure that that they're 100% sure. But this one is one of the other questions that I was like,
Yeah, we have plenty of that yesterday.
yeah. So, which of the following is most likely for a network PC to have an IPPA? Why would computer have an IPPA? Pipa. Who is a pipa? Come on, guys. This one should be easy. Who is a pipa? Only one guy. One.
Airplanes, airplanes. Ah, that's how I read it.
Mm. Ten seconds. 5, 4. Thank you. And how did we do? Yes, DHCP failure would be the reason for having an APIPA. An APIPA address, we said, was Microsoft's resolution for you not having a DHCP server that gives you an IP. It allows you to talk to everyone in the LAN. It will not give you, obviously, any gateway or anything like that. It's their solution to at least get you up and running. So if there's a DHCP failure, you will receive an APIPA address.
That's just for Microsoft.
That I'm aware of. I'm not aware of Linux or Apple providing APIPA, but I could be wrong. I don't use those much. Yeah, actually, it looks like Apple also took that on. Although Microsoft invented it, they're using 169.254. So it should be everybody is now using that, it looks like. Any questions or doubts on the APIPA? Doubts? So I don't know about Linux though. I don't see here Linux saying that it has that. Does anybody know if Linux allows it? Doubts? Nobody knows? I know it's reserved for Microsoft, but I'm not sure about Linux, so can't quote me on that
I'm
one.
not sure.
The
either,
ability
to be
for a
honest.
new computer to be automated, we said DHCP server. Oh, sorry. That was a freebie. Come on, guys. I gave it away for free. Thank you. DHCP server. That's the only one that automatically connects you to the network. A DNS server would not do that. TACAX servers. Who's TACAX? TACAX.
That's the Central Authorization Center, known as a AAA. It uses, well, this is the original, so it uses UDP, and it's partially encrypted from
Who
Cisco.
usually use this? Who's the original people using
Cisco.
Cisco? Thank you. Cisco. That's the one for you to be able to use your ADID can log you on to a Cisco router through TACAX.
Yeah, there's so many trick questions with that one. You really need to look at the plus if you do networking plus.
Yeah. Which of the following services provides the ability to resolve a UNC to the appropriate IP address? What's a UNC, people? That'll give you the answer. UNC. UNC, we belong together. No? Okay, fine. A la Juan, a la Juan, a la Juan, bing, bing, bong, bang.
Couldn't they use normal naming conventions?
Really funny. Really funny. Cute. Five. Oh. How did we do? Yes. For those that didn't know what UNC is, that's a unique naming convention. Also, FQDNs. That's what it is. Resolves a name to an IP address. A web server does not ever resolve anything to anything. What does a web server do?
It just provides you with the data that you need from the actual website.
It provides you a GUI
The
interface to
visual
a website. Yes.
interface.
Graphical user interface to a website. It may connect you to databases in the back end or something when you hit buttons, but bottom line, it is a website provider, lack of a better name. That's all it gives you is a website. He will not resolve google.com to an IP address. The web server will not do that. Which of the following devices is used to implement network security policies for an environment? Yay. Yes. Thank the Lord Jesus Christ. He is this guy. He is this guy. Who is this guy? He's the guy. Firewall. Good job, guys. Any doubts, or was that all just a guess? Unanimous guess.
That one was easy.
A technician receives a cellular from a manager. The technician instructed to download a service manually directly from the internet to a laptop. However, there is no Wi-Fi signal or a wired Ethernet. Which of the following is the most appropriate connections to the technician to use? Oh, now I get it. Boom. Alex, I'll take world history for 500. No?
Can only do 800.
Darn. I don't have enough money. Ten seconds. 5, 4. Beep, beep. How do we do? Right, first of all, I was always finding it strange. What the heck is he giving me a cellular phone? So that was the big key word. And if we saw that, there's only one thing I can do, right? That would be a hotspot. With a hotspot, I'll be able to provide internet connection. We do know that we can obviously tether, but which one's the most appropriate without me doing anything? Here requires me to have some type of special software, if we recall. For tethering, sometimes it's not as easy as just go ahead and select Bluetooth. It requires an aftermarket type of software to allow it, like iBluver or any other Bluetooth application that will give me this. The only thing that I can do that's very fast and available with any phone is go in there and turn on the hotspot if I have hotspot. Keyword in big letters, most appropriate. Bluetooth is technically illegal. If you get caught. Question. Doubts. The cloud model that represents a company maintaining some data in on-premises start all over here. There we go. The cloud model that represents a company maintaining some data in on-premises storage and some data in the cloud-based storage is also known as half here, half there. Half-ass. Oh. Wrong answer, sorry. I was close, I was just, it's not here, so that's not an answer.
I think it's the right answer.
It's half and half. And no, got nothing to do with the coffee I'm drinking. Right now. Come on, come on. You can do it. You can press the button. Yes. How do we do? Yes, yes. You make me very proud. Hybrid, hybrid. Why not community?
Because community, I think, gives access to people who aren't even inside of the
There you go.
company.
Yeah, and community will be all public, and like you said, it's shared by various companies at one time. Here, they just want some of it in the company and some of it out in the external cloud. So therefore, hybrid is the only thing. Private is only private, public is only public. And as Teresa helped us out there, community would be a public cloud that is used by the community, various companies and or organizations. Hey, here you go, Lázaro, your favorite guy right here. Which of the following main purpose of the positive 5 volts SB of a power supply? SB. What the heck is SB?
Don't look at me.
Yeah, I had to give you this one, all right, bro? Until I didn't tell you what SB was. You're like, what the heck kind of voltage is that? As good as the HTC. What was it? HTP? What was it? What I thought was a high tower, it was a home theater PC. Interchangeable. Well, if you knew what an SB is, you might guess exactly where they're going with this. Anybody know what SB is? Oh, well, sorry, we still got 5 people. Hold on a second. 15 seconds, guys. 15 seconds. Five. Oh. Okay. And how do we do? Before we hit how we do, can anybody tell me what SB except for Lazaro who found that out yesterday? What's SB stand for?
No clue.
I just thought of Southbridge. That's the only thing I could think of.
That was a great guess. Ouch. All
You
right.
guys soundboard like
All right, then I guess Lazaro, go ahead. What's SB mean?
And by.
Don't be so enthusiastic about it. SB is standby. Now that we know what SB is, positive 5 volt standby. Why would I have positive 5 volt on standby? And it's in here. Which one goes into it?
Well, this is how you could resolve it. You can exclude C because that's too little for the motherboard and processor. You can eliminate maybe D because there's an expansion card and external devices. That's kind of like a weird one.
That's like
And
contradicting yourself. I agree.
And then you have, it provides power to the audio and sound card. Well, you can have a regular 5 V-volt do the same thing. There's no special rail that I'm aware of that will get you something different.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you can deduce that it's A.
Everyone agree?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't think we all agree, though. Before we found out what an SB, I'm pretty sure we guessed anything. Yes. So the standby also is being used on the soft power. That's the guy that as soon as I touch the power, if you remember, when I unplug it, I've got to touch that button. I got to touch the button in the front to release all of the standby electricity that's in there. We've mentioned it many of times that there is stored energy and electricity even when it gets unplugged. Main purpose is that it allows for the peripherals to be able to. The one peripheral you guys are very familiar with, and you'll see it, is on your computer, the network card. You'll see the little light flickering always, even if the computer is off. That a true statement? Anybody ever look at their NIC card on the computer while it's off?
I have, but mine's different. The motherboard will always have it on, but not my external NIC card though.
Well, no, your external NIC card is a different thing. We're talking about the regular NIC card that comes integrated on there. That one usually, it will always be on. As a matter of fact, all peripherals should be able to have some sort of power to them. Any questions, doubts? Another thing that we have is a lot of reasons it has that is when we go into standby mode or sleep mode, all we have to do is just hit the keyboard or move the mouse. So even when it's on and it's in that hibernation, not hibernation, sorry, that's a wrong, hibernation is completely off. But even when it's in sleep, we're in standby mode, there is power. All the drives are turned off, all the CD-ROMs probably not spinning. Everything is just on standby. But there is things still that have power in there. Any questions or doubts? Okay, 36. A network administrator is attempting to access the firewall while inside a data center. Which of the following peripherals must he connect to do so? Well, that's the timer, by the way. No?
How strong is that coffee you're drinking? I need some of that.
Oh, girl, that's already my third coffee, and it's pure Cuban coffee with a little bit of cream.
I hate this
Oh,
question.
I'm
I mean,
ready
I
to
got
run
it
around
right,
in
but I
circles.
still hate it.
Hey, bro, this is one of the ones I probably skipped. I'm guessing which one it is, and I can tell right away because of this word right here. This one I skipped over. I didn't even know that this question was in here.
I don't think we did this question on
Nope.
the
Nope.
past computer.
Mm-mm.
We talked about something like this yesterday when we were going over it.
Yes, you are
That's
correct.
the
So
only
if you remember it from yesterday, he is him. That's exactly
Still
who I
don't
thought it
like
was. Exactly. As soon as I saw data center, that's the only thing I can think of, and it can only be him.
I really don't like how that was worded.
Yes.
Guys, KVM. That is what is inside a data center. I said it like 50 times. If you go into data center or you go into a server room, you will run into this device, the keyboard, video, mouse.
I
That's
mean,
that
you hope you do.
one-in-one that allows you, oh, sorry, forgot to take this off. It allows you to connect multiple servers to one keyboard, one video, and one mouse. So when you go into that cage and you look at a whole rack of servers, usually the real fancy ones even have where the keyboard and everything slides out and you open it and the monitor is there at the same time. Those are beautiful. Any questions or doubts?
Or you have a very cheap company that just has a monitor and a mouse.
Yeah, I started off in the Americas region when we were still in our infancy, and we had a keyboard, a mouse, and a monitor for every freaking for every server. We didn't have a rack, so every single server had a freaking keyboard. Then eventually they bought the real cheap KVM for like 2 or 3 of the cages, but eventually when we finally was like maybe in 2002, we had a full room data server with the aisles of ventilation and all that stuff. None of that cheap things that was inside a little closet there, Ricky Nick room.
I really
Questions or
want
doubts
one.
on the KVM?
Hmm?
Glad we all know what a KVM is. That's a good thing. All right. Technician needs to call a user cellular provider to troubleshoot a network speed issue with the user's mobile phone. Which of the following technologies is the technician working to troubleshoot? Come on, you guys know this one. I gotta somehow wake myself up. I'm about to fall asleep on this thing. Come on, guys. Help me out. Help me, Howard. 4. Hopefully you guys know what is what. Matter of fact, if we played our little game of deduction and removing what is not correct, anything left, although how insane and improbable, must be. Okay. LTE. You guys have probably heard of LTE before or heard LTE. LTE is a connection for your cellular phone. NFC is only for payment, has nothing to do with the cellular provider. If we remember, NFC is just to be able to pay for something. It's the one that's only within inches of a given object. Radio frequencies ID are the RFIDs. That's the thing that we talked about earlier today. RFID is used on dogs. It's used also on packages. All right. So then the RF little ID, radio frequency ID, I can actually track everything in Walmart. As soon as it actually comes off of the truck, I don't even have to scan it. The actual RFID is getting tracked throughout the building. Z-Wave is impossible, and I'm glad none of us use it. Where's Z-Wave? Anybody remember where Z-Wave is from?
Internet of Things.
Yes, sir. Internet of Things uses a Z-Wave technology to be able to connect each other with a mesh. And that is the dangerous thing that we keep on talking about, that it is trustworthy in that mesh. Any questions, doubts? Alajuan. Which of the following technologies can be used for wireless payments? Oops, isn't that one just like redundant almost? Just had similar questions? No? Okay, I'll stay quiet. I'm not gonna say what the answer is. Come on, guys. It was the previous question. It was right there. I just said it like 10 seconds ago. It's right there. One more person, please. Come on. We can do it. We can do it. 20, 19, 15. Hey, how did we do? NFC is the wireless payments. Near field communications is the new one that's out there. We do not use infrared. IR is infrared. Might be the reason why it went red. No, I'm just joking. Infrared is what we use on the controllers, remember? Or some of these projectors and or other devices are using infrared. Line of sight has nothing to do with payments. Any questions, doubts? The feature that allows users to store files in cloud base when necessary, but can be removed when space is freed up is known as the feature. This, I guess, is this feature. This feature allows users to store files in cloud base when necessary, but can be removed when space is freed up is known as. Jesus, that is confusing as hell. So I can turn it on when I want. I can turn it off when I want. Who is that? I can turn it on when I want. I can turn it off when I want. Who can that be? Who can it be, y'all? No? Who can it be, y'all?
Yeah.
All right, here we are. How do we do? On demand is correct. This is the one that we go and turn on and off as necessary. Resource pool is one resource who is pooled by various. I don't turn that off. That resource pool usually is always on. I just use it when I want, but it doesn't get removed. It does not get removed. Any questions, doubts? Okie dokie. Next question. Joe, a user, reports that his new smart wearable device is not syncing to his mobile device. Both devices are powered on, but the mobile device fails to read the data on the wearable. Which of the following is most likely to fix the issue? Go. Think about it logically. What is he doing? What's a wearable? What's a wearable? And what's a mobile device? What do I have to do? There's only one really available there, right? Think about it real good. There's only one choice available. Yes. Update the, oh, sorry, not update. Pair the devices. I'm falling asleep here. Pair the devices, guys. Obviously, this person, it never said that they were able to successfully pair anything. So the first thing we need to do is verify are the devices actually paired. Any questions or doubts on this one? Update the wearables firmware. Not sure how that would help me out much. Wouldn't this be something maybe I might do all the way at the end? Isn't this very intrusive if I update a firmware? If I update a BIOS, we all agree it's one dangerous thing that I am doing. Whenever I update firmware, that should be a last minute resort, unless if they told me and send me something saying, hey, update your firmware. Most of them are usually not writable, right? We learned some of the new ones are rewritable, but a lot of the ROM where the firmware is read-only memory. And so if it is an EEPROM, then I got to be careful with these things when I'm upgrading them. The easiest thing to check would be this, the least intrusive. A user wants to build a computer with a high-end CPU, plenty of RAM, high-end graphics card for online gaming. User wants to verify the graphics card is compatible with the motherboard. Which of the following connection types would the user most likely utilize to connect the video card to the motherboard? Ooh, that's cute. Like that. All right, guys. That one's a real cute answer. I like that one. Very good, Fandango. Which one's the fastest, guys? Is only the fastest can go. Only the fastest can go. Thank you. Let's stop here. So who's the fastest guy out of all four here?
PCIe.
PCIe, guys. AGP is slower. USB would be an external card. So unless if you're planning on installing with a USB external card, then, and on top of it, it didn't even say USB 3. It just said plain old USB, right? Any questions, doubts? 42. Technician is hired to install a network cable in a crawl space length of a hallway. To do so without a fire code violation. Which of the following types of cable should the technician run?
Boom.
What's the key word there, guys? There's a key word in there. I should give it away right away, which cable I'm looking for. Correct, plenum. Plenum is the only shielded cable that gives me fire code, right? Fire code. Shielded, the regular shielded one only helps me in shielding the cable from EMI. No factors of fire or anything. A customer has recently moved to a high-end graphics card with a no working computer to a different computer. Yeah, so it was on a good computer and then now he put in another computer. The computer works without an issue when viewing email and web pages or when using certain applications. However, when a game with high-end graphics is required, the program will run for a few minutes before the computer shuts down. Which of the following most likely caused the problem?
I experienced this personally.
You do so many mean things to computer.
Come on, no one taught me better.
Who's gonna turn me off? Look at it real good, guys. Who's gonna turn off that computer? Who can turn off the computer?
I read it wrong.
One more. One more. One more. Hit the button. Come on, you can do it. Hit the little button. The one down here. You hit Shami. Shami? Shami. Come on.
Do it.
Do it. Bing it.
Press
Thank
it.
you. How do we do? Power supply wattage, guys. The key thing is that the card was working right. No problem with the card, but this gentleman went and put it into another computer. And the card is still working right. The moment that he goes and does this, creates a problem. As soon as that graphics card starts going, let me have some power. I got to do my job now. Boom, down. No power for you. No soup for you. So power supply wattage is your problem. The guy did not check. Video RAM is not going to do that, and neither is the CPU frequency. Any questions, doubts? All right. Next question. Number 44. About 1 week ago, access to files on a server became significantly slower. Today, network files are completely unavailable. Can't see it, I can't touch it, can't do a thing with it. The technician is able to make a remote connection to the server. Which of the following can the technician check next? He can RDP to the server. No one can see the files on the server. What can he check? Ten seconds. 5. All right. So from here, what should I do next? Anyone want to take a wild guess?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just came back. What's going on?
We're still on the same question here. So, what did anybody put here? What's the next thing the technician can do?
I put C.
Same here. Though I know you have something to think about this one, yes? Maybe it's A.
Yeah.
The reason why I put C is because it says about a week ago, he had access to the files on the network and they significantly became slower. So there's obviously something wrong already that happened a week ago. So then today it's completely unavailable. So then it died. So then it says that he's able to connect to the server, meaning you could fix one of the servers for them to come back.
No, that's the server. He's able to connect to the server. Now, see, what happened most likely is, as we said, if I'm doing an operating system, the operating system is good on these servers is going to be mirrored. It's going to be a RAID mirror, right? And then the RAID 5 is going to be over here with all your files and systems. I'm sorry, all your files so that you can get to that part. So what's happening is, yes, the RAID with the 0 is fine. He's able to remote connect. But as you stated, the RAID array is down. RAID 5 is down. Therefore, you cannot see anything that's in there, be that it may be most likely a second drive died or the whole array, something happened to it. My NIC configuration would not allow me to remote connect. Therefore, there's no way that the NIC card could be the thing that I need to check because I just remote desktop to it. Therefore, I can connect over the network. My RAM utilization can't be it because if it was RAM that was completely boggled, I wouldn't be able to connect to it either. Now, the only one that was a little bit tricky was the available storage space. But when you think about it very well, if it was available storage space, I do agree with a lot of people, they'll even say this right now, you will not be able to open the files. The problem is when you run out of space, you can see the files. You cannot open them because it cannot get extracted when it temporarily tries to open that document. It creates a temp file, right? It creates a weird file with a doohickey. If you ever looked at your directories, when you open up any files, it creates a temporary file while it's editing and saving the information. Therefore, you will not be able to open the file, but you can see it. The only thing here that will not let me do anything is if the RAID is down. If the RAID's down, I can't do anything. I can't do anything with the files. That's another trick question there. You would need to know exactly how servers are built. And one key thing about servers is that operating system usually on RAID 1. Everything else, maybe if it's a fancy application or files or anything, usually are on RAID 5. Or if it's really not necessary and you don't need anything back up, then you just go RAID 0.
Wait, I have a question. So like if RAID 5, one of the drives goes down, the whole thing's down, but then someone can connect to the server and then fix it?
Well, you kind of said what happened. You had it. I think it was you that just said it a few minutes ago. So what happened most likely was that one of the drives went down. It started going.
What I'm trying to understand is like I forget.
No, I'm trying to agree with you. So, give me 1 second here so I can explain what you said and rephrase it so you can understand exactly what you said. But I guess you were a little confused. So look, one drive went down. Do we all agree if I have one drive down, it's still up?
Mm-hmm.
Will it be at the same speed?
No.
Absolutely not. It will not be at the same speed because of the fact that he has to put Humpty Dumpty back again. Every single time you touch a file, it's got to look at that parity bit and recreate the file or that bit. So it's going to start going slow to the point that since nobody went and checked this server, it completely went down. First thing they always tell you about RAIDs is, yes, you have fault tolerance, but don't wait it out. Don't ever wait it out because sooner or later, it will catch up to you and it will completely go down.
My question was just so someone can come and fix it. If the server's down. Like once one of the servers goes down in RAID 5, someone can just come and fix it, patch it up.
If it's a RAID 5, one drive, yes, you can come, you can schedule. The thing is you're going to have to do is put a change management or at least a post up that you're going to be taking the site probably down and make sure that it's off of operation hours because of the fact that if anything that you do actually impacts operation, you're up the peripheral hill and most likely getting into a nice little dark room with your boss. Therefore, you get permission first from operations and or anything else. Then you can mess with it.
So you can fix it in the end with RAID 5. But what about RAID 0? Can you fix it?
No, there's nothing to fix. Absolutely nothing you can fix with RAID 0. It's only striping. And the only thing you can do is replace the drive, bring the RAID back up, and restore from backup. if you have a backup.
Then you could do the same thing with RAID 1 then, because you can mirror it and you can fix it.
RAID 1 won't go down. What happens is that you have a complete mirror. So then, unless if that second drive goes down, then you will feel some problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got it.
If anything, on mirroring, if the mirror goes down, the RAID will probably get faster. Anybody want to know why? If I'm on RAID 1, why would it go faster if one of the drives goes down?
Because
He's only using one now.
He's only using one, and he no longer has to make an identical copy of all the data. So he's just back to one drive doing it. No necessary of making that full copy. But on a RAID 5, he's got to put the parity bit into work. So it's going to, like you said, it's going to start slowing down, and then eventually it will go down. Any questions or doubts on this question? All right, we're going to try to get at least up to 50 guys, and then we'll just grade based off the 50. That okay with you guys?
Yeah.
All right. 45. In a virtual environment, which of the following allows all VMs to have RAM allocated for use? Which one in a virtual environment will give me this? We kind of said this answer earlier, right? Hopefully we remembered that conversation about less than an hour ago. DeAndre, you look like you got a headache, bro.
I don't know. You ever just woke up and then just feel like someone dropped the anvil on your head?
Yeah.
That's me every day.
I'm not sure what I did.
Ouch. Time's up.
That's Sashi.
A la Juan. A la bing bong bang. Come on, lock it in. Lock it in. Thank you. Yes. Resource pooling. If we remembered, resource pooling is where you have one resource and it's pooled by all virtual machines. Matter of fact, you can have one big humongous hard drive, for instance, and you can resource pool it to all machines. Any questions or doubts? Measured service, you guys know that that is basically just that it measures and charges you by your actual usage. That's what measured service is. So as you use it, but that has nothing to do with what they're asking here. Virtual application streaming. Not sure what that has anything to do with what we're talking about. And lastly, synchronization. That's just to synchronize one to another. That, again, has not touched that part here. Any questions, doubts? Next. Ooh. It's even uglier. A system administrator receives a notification from a RAID controller that the RAID 5 array is degraded. Upon logging into the server, the administrator sees that on local 0, the local disk 0, the physical disk, local disk 0, physical disk 2 has failed. Which of the following is the best course of action to resolve the problem? Ooh, I kind of said this answer earlier, didn't I, Lázaro? Ooh.
Oh, yes, yes. I remember. We had a good talk about this one.
I said this. I just said it about 2 minutes ago. Hopefully you guys paid attention to what I just said.
Moment of silence.
It's a RAID 5. So what should I do?
No. I'm reading.
Yep. Think about it real good. This is not my house. This is at work. Think about it real good. So as much as a Hindeman is. Lázaro hates these questions.
Oh yeah, I love this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it doesn't beat the battery though.
Now the battery had to be the best one. That was the one that I was ready to kill somebody. But
Oh
then
no,
again,
that was not the one. That was the printer one that we got. Remember? No, that's the one you wanted to kill somebody.
no, that
That
one
was
I
the
just said it was
appetizer.
completely wrong, and I thought I fixed it on my thing, which kind of upset me. I thought I fixed it, and it was fixed, but somehow on this thing didn't come out right. Hello. So time's up, Papa. Atalahu. There we go. So, what would be my best course of action? There's only two possible answers here, but which one's the best one? Can you guys shout out which are obviously not the answer?
Delete local disk. Why are you deleting stuff?
Okay, you guys agree this one completely gone? Can you tell me one more that can be completely removed that has basically nothing to do or shouldn't do?
Same thing with D. Why would I convert RAID 5 to RAID 0 all of a sudden? Especially RAID 0.
Yeah. Everybody agree with that one? I should take that guy out? All right. So now I'm only really available two, which the two that are left looked identical if you look at it. So now that I look at this, I have immediately replaced the physical disk, wait until the array is rebuilt, and confirm the RAID controller that the system is no longer degraded. Schedule a downtime and replace the physical disk, wait until the array is rebuilt, confirm that the RAID controller system is no longer degraded. So which one is my best course of action?
B, schedule system downtime and replace physical disk.
I agree with Pablo.
But when you want to like repair that like as soon as possible.
I agree. That's what I first did. But
that is true. You want to replace it as soon as possible. But do you want your job by the time you finish that?
So that's just all right. So
there you go. Give me that anvil.
You're an administrator in a facility, and I think I said this a little while ago. I gave that huge hint. If there's any point you are touching a live equipment, be it server, switch, router, anything that is critical to operation, requires a change control and or a notification. So I need to schedule a downtime with operations and or whoever's using that, so that if in the time that I'm touching this server, if it happens to go down, it does not impact operations. If I go in there and I don't schedule a downtime and I replace this drive and somehow, somewhere it crashes, you're basically fired. 9 out of 10 times. 9 out of 10 times, you will be fired. You touched an equipment that is live, that is in production, is a server, switch, router, access points, any of those things. You take them down, you better have a piece of document saying you can. And that's what they're trying to teach you here. Both of them are right. You need to replace the physical disk too. You need to wait until the RAID is rebuilt and confirm that it's not degraded. Unfortunately, if you don't do proper paperwork, you will get in trouble. That all depends. Obviously, there may be a small mom and pop who doesn't care, but as for by the book, you would require to do that. Any questions or doubts?
I get it now.
All right, cool. A technician is setting up a printer for a small office that does not have RJ45 jacks. The user's computer are all in the same work group and are connected physically to the same network switch. The technician needs to make sure all users can print to the new printer through the switch. Which of the following should the technician configure?
I have questions about this one for you when we're done.
Hmm.
Because remember last time it said, "Oh, you don't want to use that feature," but in this one, it's using the feature.
Yes, but there was a key word in that other one.
I know those keywords, but still, it's like, what if?
There was an extra thing on that one. Don't be a naughty boy. That was doing it onto your manager's computer. You weren't supposed to do that with your manager's computer.
Well, they said to get it, but unfortunately, they want him to purchase another printer all of a sudden.
Yeah, that was a print. That's a typo. That's a typo.
I hope that typo doesn't exist.
I'm still going with a wireless print server on that other one. Not this guy's.
No.
Not going with this.
Yeah, it's still absurd, but whatever, sure.
Hey, that's what we're here for.
Let me go buy a new printer, even though we ordered a printer.
Nah, I'm pretty sure they meant wireless print server. I'm pretty sure that's the typo there. There's the.
I love this test.
All right, guys. Two more. Come on. We can do it. We got 3 questions left. Come on, guys. Do it. Touch the mind. You can do it. One more person. 10 seconds.
Commit.
All right. Our key here was network switch. Ignition is not on the switch. He's most likely going wireless. And they're all in the same work group. So what can I do that will allow the same work group to use a shared printer?
A.
That is correct. A. Why wouldn't a print server help me out here?
You need an internet connection. Well, not really internet connection, but you need to connect it to a RJ45.
Mm-hmm. The only choice we really have here would be a shared printer, because they're all in the same work group. They're all connected to the same switch, and the printer seems to be the only thing that's on the Wi-Fi right now. In a small office. And if you were thinking about a big print server, in other words, a Microsoft print server, small office. Most likely, they're not going to have a robust Microsoft print server in there.
Still don't like it because it's like the other one is like, oh no, you can't do this. You gotta buy a wireless printer instead.
Because they were sharing it off the boss's computer.
No, I get it. It's just I find it so funny. It's like
You're not allowed to do that. You got to think about these things. There's a lot of rules.
I got a question. For the exam, are they going to tell you your score right after you finish it?
Yep. At the end, it tells you exactly if you passed or not, and they spit out usually a report that tells you what your weaknesses are.
Oh, okay. I'm just asking. All right. Thank you.
Right. Any Bluetooth printing will not help me. Why wouldn't Bluetooth printing help me?
Because based on the question, they're all physically connected. There's nothing here telling me they're using Bluetooth, and it sounds complicated to use a AD, what's it called? HH hawk mode? No, hawk mode.
Ad hoc
would be too ad hoc. It would be too complicated because you're probably using more than 5 computers, and it's recommended no more than 10. Just complicated mesh.
So Bluetooth is out because, first of all, they're telling us this is what they're using. This is how they're connected. Doesn't tell us at all Bluetooth is available for all these desktops. As we know, desktops usually do not have all of them Bluetooth. Not all desktops have Bluetooth. Therefore, the only thing you could do is use a shared printer. Shared printer queue. Which of the following devices performs forwarding decisions based on MAC addresses. Only one guy can do that, guys. Just think about it. Who coming with me? Who's coming with me? Who works with MAC addresses? Layer 2, people. Layer 2. Who is this guy? How much of a clue you guys needed? Come on, come on. 2 more. I'm missing 2 people. Commit. Press the little button.
Do it.
The one down there. Press the button. Thank you. So, guys, who works with MAC addresses? Only one guy that works with MAC addresses.
Switch.
Does a hub work with MAC addresses?
Not really. He just
He
relays
is,
it.
he is
Yeah,
on
he
the-
just sends the signal.
he is on layer 1. He is a physical connection, and he is as dumb as it gets. He will yell it out to everybody. He does not make any decisions. A switch has as we stated, has a table of all MAC addresses associated with ports. It's got to make those decisions. It's got to be smart to be able to separate all broadcast domains. That way, each port, it's its own broadcast domain. Compared to a hub, the whole hub is a broadcast domain. So it doesn't matter, even if you're not broadcasting on a hub, it will broadcast every single conversation to every single port. So if Teresa and Justin are downloading, they're both going to hear the exact same conversation of both of them. And then the NIC card's got to decide, oh, that's got nothing to do with me. Why the hell are you even talking to me? All right, let me wait here. Oh, that's my part. Thank you. Thank you. That's got to do with me. That was a lot of the problems that they had with what they call collisions back in the day. That's why Ethernet came up with this, because the hubs had so many collisions when it came to the token ring and or any other technology. Ethernet came up with that algorithm so that when they do collide in a hub environment, it creates an algorithm with a certain number, which it multiplies by the time that it happened, and it comes up with another frequency of time to be able to transmit again. Therefore, the only smart enough guy to talk at that layer is switch. Does a router speak based on MAC addresses? What layer does a router speak on?
Network layer.
Okay. IP, right? Network layer IP. He's on that 3rd layer. Just it doesn't matter if you're looking at TCP/IP or the OSI level, OSI layers. Both of them are right there on that 3rd layer. Any questions on router versus switch? Router cannot make decisions based on MAC addresses. He does not make any decisions based on MAC address. He routes on IPs. 49, which of the following devices can utilize VLANs to structure networks? This is like a freebie almost. I went over this question, but we didn't have the question. We talked about the question. Which device can I use to create VLANs to secure networks? Virtual LANs. Okay, so who would like to take a guess on this one? Who creates VLANs? Anyone remember who creates, would a hub create a VLAN? No?
Oh,
Stop it. So we're saying no here. Does a bridge create VLANs? Can a bridge create a VLAN?
No.
What does a bridge do?
It just removes unnecessary traffic.
Wait,
It says it to this right, and there's a certain amount of requirements that the thing needs for it to be sent.
connects to networks.
It connects two physically
Different medias.
different networks. Two physically different networks. Token ring to Ethernet, fiber to Ethernet. It bridges those two. So that's not going to be it. Repeater. What does a repeater job do?
literally that repeats. This way you can have the segment
Extends out.
longer.
It extends or repeats the exact same subnet and or technology, right? So you could have a access point as a repeater. You could have a switch act as a repeater, depending on how you configure these things. Any questions or doubts? So the only thing left would be switch. Switch, as we stated earlier, the switch can create its own VLANs. The purpose of this is these managed switch are, are so expensive that if a small office buys 5 different switches just to keep security, would be much more expensive than me going into this unmanaged switch and segregating them with VLANs. That makes security completely separate. That means those ports in each and every VLAN has only visibility to that VLAN. Therefore, if I put ports 1, 3, and 5 for marketing, ports 2, 6, and 8 for IT, if it's not written that they can cross connect from VLANs in the security, they won't be able to see each other. It's like if they were in 2 different completely networks. Although it's the same appliance, same switch, it completely separates them and there's no way they can actually see each other. Any questions on the VLANs and who creates them? And number 50, a user is connected to a docking station with an optical drive and is trying to back up personal files to removable media, but is encountering writing errors. Sorry, I'm getting really bored here. Which of the following is most likely cause of the errors? User is connected to a docking station with an optical drive and is trying to back up his personal drives to the removable media, but is encountering write errors. Which of the following is most likely causing these errors?
I still don't like this question.
Yeah. I do. I like this one. This was cute. Just gotta think about it, man. What can cause it? Technically, you gotta flip a coin, maybe. But six, 5, 4. Okay, guys. All right. Anybody want to take a wild guess on what's the problem here? Why can't I write to the CD or the DVD?
It's already been used. In other words, it's full.
No, it's been finalized. See, there is DVDs that you can read and write more than once. The moment you finalize that disc, it is no longer usable. that CD gets closed, creates a little table of contents and all that crap, it is no longer writable. You will get errors on that. Wow, the files are not, why would files not be compatible with a disk? Just want to understand where we got that idea from. How can files not be compatible with the type of disk we're about to use? Want to understand the logic on that choice, if somebody can explain that one to me.
Basically, right?
Do we all agree that files are all zeros and ones?
I was honestly thinking about like the disk was the wrong one, and that's why they're trying to write on the wrong disk. That's where I picked that one.
That sounds like a common ID10 error.
You guys guessed that they were talking about the DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they were using like a you can't read and write on it type of, you know, that's what I was going for.
People know you can burn DVDs, but everyone doesn't know exactly which ones you need. That seems logical.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Well, it didn't say DVD though. It said the files are not compatible with the type of disk used.
That's why I thought it was DVD. So the disc already been finalized, like it already has like information on it.
When it's finalized is when you lock it. In other words, there's some of them that allow you to read and write more than once onto the DVD. Then there's a point in the actual software that you can finalize the disk, meaning that you're not gonna write anymore on it. And what it does, it technically locks the DVD so that nobody can erase or write on it anymore. That's when it does, when it finalizes the CD or the DVD. Makes it unwritable anymore. Any questions or doubts? Let's finish up here.
What about like number D or D? Because like would it just like tell you the files were corrupted, or?
Well, here it's saying that he's getting writing errors. On writing errors means it's when it's writing to the device, it's getting writing errors.
All right, I understand.
Not reading errors. Reading errors would be the corrupt hard drive when I'm reading the hard drive to write to the optical drive. That makes sense? All right, let's finish up here. Hit OK. And ouch. There we are. That is completely wrong. Obviously, I know it shows like everybody failed. Don't worry about it. I will figure it out myself. Any questions, doubts?
No, sir.
I'm gonna just say no, I'm not ready for this test.
I think I'm gonna need like 2 months. I don't know.
Is anything like this one that we just took? Yeah, pretty much.
I'm gonna have to study extra hard tonight.
Yeah, like
a lot
this
of professor messer.
got me pissed. I'm
Gonna
Is
have to study
the,
extra hard tonight.
is the test similar to this test that we're having, or like does it have more base scenario questions?
It's very close to what I just gave you right now.
It wasn't so bad then. Like, I don't know.
Hold on a second. Give me a second here. Make sure.
I'm about to go rollerblade and forget about everything. See?
Yo, Sam, except skateboarding.
Yeah, dude, I'm like over this right now.
All right, guys. All right, give me a second. Where did it is yet? You guys submit that up?
No.
No, I just see you. Oh, there we go. Ah, this is for me probably.
There
You
you
see,
go.
he looks like an elf.
Oh, Elf, you said a robot earlier. We mean elf.
Yes, robot elf. Both.
That's funny.
He looks like a robot, man. Come on.
Because he sounds like a robot.
All right, here we go. He has no emotion. That's why it might be you say he sounds like a robot.
Yeah, he's a robot.
Vulcans have no emotion. Here we go. Ready? Listen to what he says.
You eliminate the impossible, whatever remains.
That's the pop. Which one is the fastest and ending with the slowest?
I couldn't hear anything.
All right. I
It
mean,
doesn't matter. It proves my point. You see, it's an elf robot.
Improbable must be.
You don't have to. You can be an organic robot. The future.
here we are.
You eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must.
All right.
Eliminate
When you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. So that's his quote. Now you know. When you eliminate the impossible, whatever left, even though if it's improbable, this must be the truth. Merry Krishna. Happy New Year's. Any questions or doubts before we end today's session?
Yeah. You said we had the option, right, to decide if we want to take the test tomorrow or not.
Yes, but if you decide not to take the mock test tomorrow, I need to know exactly when you plan to take it. When are you planning to take it? So it's
It
gotta
might
be within a
take
week.
it-